Welcome, beloved Sangha, to our Jewel Ornament of Liberation series led by our Venerable Khenpo Tenzin. We will begin in the Yellow Garchen Buddhist Institute prayer book on page 4 and page 5 with opening prayers. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Tamgwe doji yekje rezonro yenja manda tuja ponjam surje lombo davra jibeg shakje jarbu jardong guzan sar torjen jenje delo naro ta maba mala chuje gambo ba pamo drba jawan rogong ba Kajulama namje dajon je dananda nazara damje da lama laba la ye jisozo la zoyon den jamzong alaba dende donjin de begele zor da ge lo jizon robar sinje labdo zor je lamdon robar sinje labdos lam drova zevar sinje labdo zor drova jizon jabar sinje labdo zor den jende wan jong ga ba me ba je ba me ba ta me ba wa me ba do me da de do me do je me zhe ba nye je je dan ba zo pu san je ma nan je dan ba de la jiang zar do zhen je za ba la ma chi je ko zong do je sen lan da da na ge ju lan be de da ge den ba dan sun je je tong la po jian zhe ba zhen je la do so Many interstellar Dharma brothers and sisters. First, I would like to pray for you or supplicate to Tara. The 7 verses of supplication to Tara for protection. So among them, the one verse, it says, Mindful Mother Goddess, please protect those distracted by evil activities, those who have been seeing the natural mind so difficult to comprehend, do not habituate it. Mother Tara, especially mindful goddess Mother Tara, is over mindfulness. Mindfulness is a fundamental or root of all meditations, and also mindfulness is a fruition of all our meditation. If we will be mindful, keep mindfulness, then Tara remains in our mind inseparably. Tara always protect us. Tara is not different and our mindfulness. In generally, mindfulness is really helpful, and especially during the Dharma practice. Dharma practice means these three things gathering together: listening, reflecting, and meditating. These three things comes together, we call it Dharma practice. So while you're listening Dharma, mindfulness is extremely important. While you reflecting, of course, mindfulness is extremely important. The meditating means mindfulness. Mindfulness means meditating. So we should know a very special secret thing, which is our mindfulness and Tara inseparable. Otherwise, we try to make hope we will see Tara some separately somewhere, then it takes time. But we trust that our mindfulness is Mother Tara, and then from the luminosity of our mindfulness, we will see Tara. We will see in Tara in our mind, and also we will see Tara in front of our eyes, and also we can hear her mantras. And then, which means Tara protect. Actually, Tara equally protect to us, our gurus and our practitioners, and even non-practitioners. Tara equally protects. But the gurus, particularly, they get some blessings from Tara because their mind and Tara, they know their mind and Tara are inseparable. After they keep with mindfulness, that's where they receive more blessings from Tara. Even their action become Tara's action, and their speech become Tara's speech. And then the practitioners, sometimes we trust in Tara, supplicate Tara. So sometimes we have some special experience, but sometimes we don't, because that means our mindfulness is uncertain. Our mindfulness uncertain. So mindfulness is very important. When you listen Dharma, then, for example, when today I give you this teaching on jewel ornament of liberation, then of course, when I recite this text, you will receive wonderful Dharma informations. But when I do commentary by myself, sometimes there are maybe you get some helpful or useful things, but sometimes may not. However, you consistently or you listen Dharma with mindfulness, then however, it is a great practice. Yeah. Okay. Then another thing that sometimes I think that we are Buddhist, so we should have a special happiness in our mind. I have investigated by myself when I wake up, whether I wake up happily or with tensions. Most of the time, I don't wake up happily. I wake up thinking about things I have to do. At the best, I think about practice, but also normal jobs. But thinking about the question of waking happily has helped me. It is like receiving water. If you are a flower, waking up happily first thing in the morning, this happy mind goes through the channels and clears them of negativity, and the power of this happiness brings nice things into focus for our sins. I think this happiness directly supports longevity. So the best thing is if we can generate bodhicitta and visualize yidams, we wake up. If we can't, then at least we should wake up with a happy mind. Every morning is a new life, and this is how we reduce self-grasping. By reduce, I mean if something has a lot of potential and power, we begin to losing this power. As Chintakirti said, initially fixating on these so-called I as in existing self, my gives rise to grasping, helpless beings driving as in arrogation's will. To compassion for these I bow down. All beings at first fixate on oneself and I, and then after this grasping grows, then they fixate on my. So all beings are held by the perception of I and my, and then they are suffering. So we are teaching, listening, and meditating in order to help them. So through teaching and listening and meditating, it benefits them greatly, directly and indirectly. So please arouse compassion. At the very least, you should think, today I am listening to the Dharma for the welfare of mother beings. Mother beings cycle through existence like in irrigation's wheel. The meaning of irrigation's wheel, maybe you know. In irrigation, wheel brings water from a wheel and pours onto the field. It is tightened by ropes, nails, and so on. Similarly, sentient beings are bound by karma and afflictive emotions. In irrigation, wheel has to be pulled up with a lot of strength, but going down is easy. Similarly, it is difficult to go up to higher birth, but go down to the lower realms is easy. And even though you may teach, so you may reach the, you may reach, okay, you may, or you may teach. I think all beings are teachers, especially I think the if we can learn, if we learn, then everything is everything is like a teacher. And if we not learn, then teachers stay with you 24/7, but then nothing to receive. So what I say, reach. It's a how to say, become familiar. Often I say teach. So now every word transform into teach. So, but you understand what I try to say. So you may reach the highest realm of samsara. You will still come down, just as the water, what to say, drains away from the field. And also, I confess to you, because even I try to teach Dharma. Dharma is a very honest. Why Dharma become honest? Because of karma, law of karma. So, but when I use Dharma vocabulary, then I how to say? I lied. Yeah. For example, reach, teach, mispronounce. It's kind of lie, yeah. But I confess. Also, just like 12 links of interdependent origination, you cannot tell which of the cups on the water wheel comes first. The irrigation wheel does the same thing every day. Actually, this how to say 12 links of interdependent origination. Before 2 years ago, probably I taught on there. Sometimes in the Dharma, actually, it says the practical Buddhas, they practice on it and they successfully accomplished. But we are Mahayana practitioners, so our main practice is Bodhichitta, but I think we must learn and practice on 12 links interdependent origination. Because it will helps a lot to understand the situation of samsara. Because the samsara, the cause of samsara is ignorance. Okay. Uh, mm, uh, I, can I say why do I laugh? Maybe I will not. Okay, so now the ignore ignore uh, 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 okay. So ignorance is a cause of uh, samsara. I laughed because when I reach, I said teach, and then my English teacher is in front of me and look at me with big eyes. So then I noticed suddenly what I did. Okay, so uh, um, um, yeah, samsara is samsara means cyclic exist. So because of ignorance and the rest of other 12 links of interdependence. So that and then irrigations will are very similar. Anyhow, these the 12 links of interdependent origination. You cannot tell which of the cups on the water well comes first. The irrigation well does the same thing every day, just like sentient beings do the same thing repeatedly. But we cannot criticizing mother beings by these examples. But we have to know how they are suffering, and then we have to help them through our compassion. As it says in the great song of Ndogongpas, the clever bees understand the differences among the flowers, and without disturbing them, gather nectar and fly in the air. Likewise, Buddha's heart disciples don't perceive other beings' mistakes, but see their quality of Buddha nature and liberate themselves. How sweet. It's really sweet. So we see others' quality of Buddha nature, then it liberates us. If we perceive others' faults, then this perception binds us. Others' Buddha nature is like a glass table, and you know that glass table is inherently clean, but you see on the glass table some dirt, so you will begin to clean that dirt. Likewise, you see the temporary afflictive emotions on clean surface of Buddha nature, then you utilize the eraser of compassion and remove the dirt of the afflictions. Compassion alone is the first seed for the abundant harvest of Buddhahood, the water for its growth, and finally, what matures as a state of lasting enjoyment. Also, compassion is the mother of all Buddhas. Before they became Buddhas, they cultivated compassion. That's why they gained immeasurable Bodhichitta. Then they became Bodhisattvas. And from being Bodhisattvas, they became Buddhas. This is the system of positive karma, cause and effect. Cause and effect. The karma cause and effect has two positive and negative in relative form. So positive, so we don't think karma is always punishment. Karma means negative. Karma will be negative or positive. It's in your hands. Because karma created by yourself, ourselves, through our speech, through our mind, and through our actions, we cultivate karma. There is a very clear thing to know. Karma is a very powerful. Why? This is very important to understand, I think. Negative karma is a very powerful, strong, and positive karma is also powerful and strong. And negative karma become very powerful and strong because negative self-grasping or grasping of phenomena consecrated negative karma. So that's why it is very strong. And positive karma is also very powerful and strong. Even this positive karma has a power to attain Buddhahood. I mean, it makes attain Buddhahood someone. That means in the positive karma consecrated by merit. Merit, okay? So we should accumulate merit. So sometimes perhaps you think, oh, every day teaching, listening, reciting, why do we do that? Because we are going to accumulate merit. When we have a merit, even mundane activities we can accomplish through the power of merit. So, in this life, we need less suffering, less obstacles, and long life, happy life, wealthy, healthy life. The merit is very important. So this merit can put in special container, which is precious human life. So we be mindful of what is different between positive and negative karma. Also, karmic potential or karmic potential of karma is merit. I mean, positive karma. So I try to accumulate more merit. And then last week we discussed the enlightenment potential of Sharavikas and Paitaka Buddhas. When Buddha was in India, Shariputara, Mongolputara, and Ananda were some of the Sharavikas. Do you know Mongolputara? Mongolputara, who stand up the one side of Buddha. So his name is Ngachin Rinpoche. He's how to say, it's not reincarnation, probably potential. It goes up. For example, his right now he is 8th reincarnation of Ngachin Rinpoche, but then his previous lives, we goes up. It's Mongolputara. He's how to say. However, his mind traveled from Mongolputara to until now. So we believe next life, yeah? So we all have previous lives. So then the gurus, they have their previous lives. Since in their previous lives, they accumulate wonderfully merit, practiced. So Rinpoche's Mongolputara is Rinpoche's one of the previous lives. And then between their hearts, many, as well as Ayadeva and so forth, there are allowed many. So there were thousands of Sharavikas. Perhaps I use English. I don't know how I could use it. There are little way to explain this, like reincarnations and previous life. Probably it will not call reincarnation. It's called previous life. Anyhow, then there were thousands of Sharavikas, but at that time there were just a few practical Buddhas. But practical Buddhas do not teach in assembly, and also they do not follow gurus. They remain in a very remote, solitary place. But they have some disciples. When they have disciples, they teach through their miraculous powers. They communicate with their disciples through their miraculous powers, and also they not teach through the text. They teach only through ears, just to give some instructions, and it goes through it. Not much using like a text and so forth. It is quite similar to Mahasiddhas, what they do. Telopa, Naropa, Saraha, how they follow their gurus is quite similar, but the difference is the Mahasiddhas have Bodhichitta, and they must follow their masters. They do as their masters advice, even more than us. So they gained profound realization of non-duality. In the Madhyamaka text says, Charavikas and practical Buddhas are born from the Shakyamuni Buddha. So they are born from Buddha means they are born from Buddha's speech. Generally, they listen to the Buddha's teaching with great concentration, and they apply the antidotes of afflictive emotion, so they can purify self-grasping. Actually, they are amazing. They purify self-grasping, but self-grasping has subtle and gross. So gross of self-grasping. The subtle of self-grasping is the grasping of phenomena. So this is very hard to purify. So they could not purify subtle obscurations. So the seed of samsara remains in them. That's why we don't want to be Sharavikas and practical Buddhas. We wish to become Bodhisattvas. Otherwise, if we were satisfied to purify only self-grasping, then we should become Sharavikas and practical Buddhas. But if you should become practical Buddhas, then you should stay in the forest alone. There is one animal on the nose have a one horn. What is it called? What? Rhinoceros. Yeah, some Sharavikas name is that name, synonym. They call them because this one horn just grow on the nose. Yeah, there are no two horns. That's where Sertav in Drachompa means some practical Buddha just live alone. They don't apply any kind of friends and so forth. They only meditate, stay in the forest, very deep forest. Okay, so but we call them Buddha because they purified a lot, as well as afflictive emotion and self-grasping. So emotion has two, yeah, afflictive emotion and cognitive obscuration. So afflictive emotions are pretty easy to purify than the cognitive obscurations. Among the afflictive emotion, angry emotion is pretty easy to purify because we don't like it and we easily understand it. But attachment is very hard because this is part of a pleasant feeling. This is pleasant feeling. When attachment arises, it has little joy. So we have a special fixation on it. And also the subtle of attachment is very hard to understand by other people. If other people don't understand you have attachment, they will not criticize you. But when we have angry emotion, then easily people notice it. So people also criticize oneself, also don't like because it's an unpleasant feeling. Yeah. So there, the obscurations have different layers, and when we purify, we are going to purify them gradually. But as Milarepa said, sometimes some practitioners can purify together. Lord Jigten Sunggung also said same thing in the Buddha's single intention. Some practitioners purify cognitive obscuration first. We have to understand first means cognitive obscuration and afflictive emotion, they purify together at the same time. So the meaning is that it is like sometimes we call the sun's rays the sun. So they are very close. They attain Buddhahood compared to beings of the lower realms. So we call them Buddha sometimes. However, they don't have much bodhicitta and realization of non-duality. Why don't they do not have bodhicitta then? This is very much related to courage. encouragement. That means they cannot think that they can liberate all mother beings. They know, okay, if I try to liberate, I can do by myself. But I really cannot liberate all mother sentient beings because there are countless mother sentient beings. How can I liberate them? They think like that. That's why they don't try. They don't try to liberate other beings. Then what is the difference between the Sharavikas and the practical Buddhas? Sharavikas have purified self-grasping, and the practical Buddhas have purified self-grasping and half of the grasping to phenomena. Half of grasping of phenomena, I already said they did not. That means half of grasping to phenomena also has different layers. They just purify part of surface, grossly of them. They could not purify subtle. But subtle is very hard. The subtle obscurations or subtle grasping is so difficult. It's like if we wear thick socks and not wear shoes, and we go to on the dirt road or the grassland, and then this grass patched on the socks, patched, stuck in the socks, then it's so difficult to take off. Even we wash it into the washing machine, still this remains there. So even sometimes wear socks, shoes, it doesn't matter. Many piece of grasping comes inside in the socks. It's very difficult to remove. Similarly, detail or subtle grasping is so difficult to purify. That's why they could not. But Bodhisattvas will purify all grasping to ourself and to phenomena. And then there are different bhumis. Bodhisattvas who reach at the bhumi, then they begin to remove this subtle grasping. First bhumi, or to the 7 bhumis, Bodhisattvas who reach first to 7 bhumis, they cannot purify this subtle grasping too, but they process on there. Then the Bodhisattvas, during the time that the Buddha was living in this world, were Manjushri and Avalokiteshvara and so on. Nowadays, there are no more practical Buddhas, and there is no real organization of Sharavikas. But it is possible that sometimes automatically we become Sharavikas, because when we practice, we have less courage and less Bodhichitta, but then we listen to many teachings for oneself. And then sometimes we have a little renunciation of samsara. But don't misunderstand and think, oh, I will not listen and practice because I don't have much Bodhichitta. So will become a Sharavika or practical Buddha. For example, if you take medicine and it does not completely cure your illness, but it helps you recover a little and reduce your pain, then it is better to take it. Similarly, being a Sharavika or practical Buddha is better than not practice at all. The best and easiest is to arrive at the path of Bodhichitta and become a Bodhisattva. This is a piece of cake, because we now we have the Buddha nature, and we have spiritual masters, we have precious human life, we have great path instructions, and then there is our goal is through the Dharmakaya, so we will attend this. So we have 5 special helpers, so we can accomplish all of them. Some of them we already accomplished. Then to review, there are 5 categories of enlightenment potential. In each there is one kind of being, but even though there are 5 categories, there are not 5 kinds of Buddha nature. They all have the same Buddha nature. For example, I don't have confidence that we are equal in Dharma understanding, or my Dharma understanding is better than yours. But I can say with complete confidence that my Buddha nature and Shakyamuni Buddha nature are exactly the same. So I can believe these categories of beings all have equal Buddha nature. Why there are different layers of division, like Sharavika, Paitaka Buddha, and Bodhisattva, because they are divided according to the vastness of their mind. So what makes the vastness of their mind is Bodhichitta. Bodhichitta is like oil which is applied on the leather of mind. Then when it meets the wisdom of the sun, then the leather of mind becomes more flexible and can expand more easily. Without Bodhichitta, then mind is like a dry leather. Even if it meets the sun of wisdom, it will only shrink. So Sharavikas and Practical Buddhas' minds are like a dry leather. They have wisdom to realize selflessness, and they know how to apply antidotes to afflictive emotions, and also they gained view, but their view holds them firmly as dry leather in the sun. However, Bodhisattvas' minds of oiled leather expand when they meet with the sun of Dharma wisdom. So we think we are not followers of the Sharavika and Practical Buddha's paths. Practical Buddha paths. We believe we are on the Bodhisattva path, and we belong to the Kaju lineage, and we are followers of Milarepa. So what are our true rights and responsibilities? Milarepa has pointed out to us, through his song. It says, if there is no difference between appearances and emptiness, it means one has mastered the view. To realize that appearances and emptiness are a non-duality, first we should know that all these appearances appear in the mirror of the mind. One very important point is that the moon's reflection in water, for example, where the moon is outside, then it reflects in the water, but all appearances appearing in the mind is quite different. All those appearances appear from the mind, not from outside. How they appear from the mind is that in the mind we have imprints of these appearances. So they appear. In the mind we also have the imprint of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and their pure lands. But right now, they don't radiate from our mind because ordinary imprints appear. The main reason they appear is, for example, in the TV, we already recorded a beautiful environmental show, and also we recorded one about natural disasters. So it depends on which button of the remote control we press. Actually, the view means making a decision. The best view is the decision we make with our wisdom dharma mind. Otherwise, the wrong views are our view, and right views are a view. For example, if you think that one person is 100% wrong, that is your view. View means you have strongly decided on that. So then it's very difficult to change your mind. And to explain to you that that person is actually a good person, then if you trust in karma, that karma never betrays us, you completely trust in that, that is our view. And it is the same with all phenomena and emptiness, being inseparable or non-duality. First, you hear these appearances and emptiness are inseparable. Then you understand. Then you clearly experience. And then this clarity of experience will expand, and finally you will have completely accomplished. At that moment, you attain the Dharmakaya. Then Milarepa said, if there is no difference between dreams and daytime, then you have mastered meditation. You don't know what kind of dreams will come during your sleep. Many different kinds of dreams appear in your mind. At that time, if you know they are dreams, meaning not real, many practitioners know that a dream is a dream, especially if you are particularly training on dreams, then you know then you are dreaming that it is a dream. Then in the daytime, when you see people, talk with people, walk, eat, everything you do is like a dream. So there being no difference between dreams and daytime means that at night in the dreams you do everything, but if you realize it is a dream, then you have no fixation. But don't want to stop those functions. Similarly, in the daytime, whatever occurs and whatever you do, you realize everything is like a dream and you do not fixate on it. That means you are a master meditator. When you visualize the yidams, the power of your meditation, you will appear yidam deities to your mind, also your eyes. If you are fixated on there, then that means you cannot completely accomplished. But if you are not fixated on them, then you that means you accomplish completely. But fixate means it does not mean you cannot share your experience about your dreams. You can tell your dreams. Especially if you have good dreams, you can share with your masters or your gurus. But from internally, it tells you, the dream tells you something, some informations. Goes well, or how is your practice? Goes well or whatever. So you can tell, you can share your dreams, but internally do not fixate on it. How? I will make clear on this. If you have a very nice dream, for example, last night, you have a very nice dream, and then this morning you can share that dream to your master and explain to your Dharma friend and so forth. But you don't grasp beyond there. Don't think, oh, that's a very good dream. I really like it. I really hope still I get like the same dream. Don't do like that. If you do that, then it destroy to get the kind of these dreams. Also, if you have some serious dreams, morning you wake up, oh, today something happened, this year something happened because my dream is so bad. Don't think like that, but you can share that dreams to your masters. Don't share with ordinary friends some serious dreams. Because the reason is the ordinary friends, they don't know the meaning of that dream. If they don't know, they say something, it makes more, like a charged thoughts. You already have some serious dream, and you share that to your friends. Your friends, oh my goodness, oh, it's so dangerous or something. And then you think, oh, really, it is dangerous. Then you make it real situation. So that's the way. Don't share means that. But if you share that your master, for example, during the practice of Vajrasattva, you get some dreams as a ghost and lots of serious disease on your body. They are good dreams, though, so your master know it. That means you are purifying them. So your master knows. Then Milarepa has wonderful dreams. He shared Marpaya. He did not share with the ordinary beings. So that is the reason is that. And then Milarepa also said, if there is no difference between bliss and emptiness, then you are the master of conduct. Generally, we are attached to small temporary happiness. If we are attached to temporary happiness, it blocks the occurrence of great bliss. This is actually since I was began to learn Dharma in the Shedas. They also gave spiritual teachers gave this advice gave me. Deva chungla chakpa te chimbu deva tomsi, which means if you are attached with small happiness, temporary happiness, then you will not gain great happiness. That means when I study Buddha Dharma, if I like to play games and go with friends and eat food, morning sleep until 10, evening maybe just sleep or sometimes talk with a friend. These are actually pretty favorite things. I really had that experience. But if I did that, and then I will not able to understand Dharma. I don't mean right now I know very higher knowledge of Dharma, but if I made some effort on Dharma, it has a result. Same thing. This temporary happiness. If we attached to temporary happiness, then it blocks the occurrence of great bliss. And then that temporary happiness is the cause of samsara. For example, if you are an alcoholic, you drink a few mouthfuls and then you are attached and then slowly become addicted to it. So then you are attached to temporary happiness. So attached to alcohol that you will not work, you will not do anything to the point where you just lie in the streets. But if you do not attach to temporary happiness and you practice, for example, the 6 yogas of Naropa, you practice with the channels and the winds, or even in the Sutara path, you increase immeasurable Bodhichitta, immeasurable joy, and then you have extremely joyful experience. So I don't mean who are sip small alcohol, like drink little alcohol. I don't mean this is a bad or big mistake. This is a part of the samsaric way. So a little bit is fun, but you should be mindful. Don't be addicted on there. If you are addicted on there, then it is not good result. So it will not help you. But if you are not monastic, then if you drink a little bit, of course, I don't mean this is not non-virtue. So you should be confess, purify, the part of non-virtue, but I don't mean you are not allowed to do it. But don't do too much. My main reason, or what I try to say is that actually I brought it for example, but and then however, you should know that temporary happiness or great bliss, all of it is emptiness. You should seal it with the emptiness. At that time, this bliss becomes inexhaustible and it will increase. Great bliss and temporary bliss also can be if you fixate on great bliss, it will become temporary happiness. If you are not attached on temporary happiness, especially if you realize the essence of this is emptiness, then it transforms into great bliss. So this is a spiritual method. We should know that, okay? For example, just a little breath that leaves your mouth and goes out into the air and space, and until this space finishes, your breath remains. And then if there is no difference between this life and the next life, one has mastered the nature. Generally, the next life and tomorrow are no different. We always think next life means some is coming in the far away, but as Nagarjuna said, he wrote letter to a king and friends. He wrote a few letters. Among them, he said, "Tomorrow or today, which comes first? Nobody know. Nobody know. Some sickness people remains for long. Some some healthy people also goes early to the next life. So we really don't know. But then there is a way to reduce those worry and so forth. So when we die, we become unconsciousness for a few days or a few hours, depending on the person's karma. And then we wake up, and if at that time the person thinks, I, and then perceives others separate from the I, then whatever appears is the cause of fear and anxiety and harm. If one wakes up in the bardo with selflessness and remembers yidams and so forth, then your protectors, like a field of yidams, gathers. Yidams, Buddhas come to you to protect you. It is the same in this life. If you wake up and at the same time you practice Bodhichitta, then all mother sentient beings are your parents, and there is no enemy. And if you realize all phenomena are emptiness, then there is no suffering, no obstacles. So since you wake up in the morning, you have no problems. You are not in samsara. If you realize that this life and the next life are no different, then you become the master of nature. Then if mind and space are no different, then you are the master of Dharmakaya. Actually, mind has mentalities and elaborate explanations. But in this case, mind and Mahamudara are the same. So this mind is like an empty space, and it provides everywhere, but the nature of it is emptiness. And it is birthless, deathless, with no cessation, no aging, no impermanence, like empty space. But still it is clear, very clear. It is not like space in the night. It is like space during the day. So you should hear about this, and then you should understand, and then you should progress, and then you should accomplish all of this. So this part is easily understand, but you should repeat it. You should repeat. It's like we learn English language and so forth. If we are not learning day by day, month to month, instantaneously, it's so difficult to understand. Actually, in Tibet, one person, he was a superman, super clever. So but he also learned step by step the English. But he took how long? He learned English from an English teacher during the mountain Kailash. Everybody knows mountain Kailash, yeah, Tibetan called Kangri. He made 13 circumambulate, 13 round. He learned English, and then he knows. Right now we see his English. He wrote something. He wrote his grammar. I don't know his pronunciation how about, but because he passed away over 100 years ago. 100 years and 100 and maybe 2 or 3 years ago, he passed away. He was poetry, and he was so famous. He know all Buddha dharmas, and he knows Sanskrit. He traveled to India with walking. He is the last of Tibetan Sanskrit translator. He know very well Sanskrit, and he know the English, and he know English over 100 years ago. However, so and then he wrote many texts. It's really wonderful. He wrote many texts, Dharma text. So, however, he learned the English kind of so fast. He did 13 chorus in Kailasha, then he understood English. So, but he learned gradually from E, B, C, D, and then make sentence, and then he did that. So, same like when we have to attain the realization of this union, we should repeat. And then fundamentally, we need confidence or trust if we really try to attain Dharmakaya or realization of emptiness. We can. That we need. This confidence. We need that confidence. If we have that, then everything we can do. And we can attain. Some practitioners will attain realization of emptiness in few hours, some few days, some few months, some few years. Or soon, however, sooner or later, we will gain this realization, okay? So if you gain that realization, then you become the master of Dharmakaya. So right now, what I'm saying here is not only my suggestion. If this is only my suggestion, then okay, you don't trust on there. But this suggestion or this teaching comes from generation by generation, from Buddha to until now, from lineage masters mentioned, and they experientially gained these realizations. And then they, through their compassion, power of compassion and loving kindness, they live. These things are in the text or in the people's mind, practitioner's mind. So, and then if there's no difference between happiness and suffering, then you are the master of instruction. How? Instruction, path instructions. Oh, we heard many path instructions, but we are going to utilize them. If we heard thousands of instructions from different gurus, but we cannot dissolve them in our mind completely, so still we are in sorrow. If we dissolve all these path instructions in our mind, then we realize happiness and suffering are no different. That is the best medicine, actually. So you think carefully. For example, if I have some very difficult problems, difficult problems, and I go to the guru and I share it, and guru said, think like this, don't think that way, and meditate this way. And the guru gives path insight, that is this, something like that. At that moment, my mind liberate. Oh, exactly, Guru Rinpoche, really. This is exactly. It benefits me, it helps me. We say that, we feel that. If that is true, then after hours later or days later, then this suffering occurs back again. These obstacles occur again. Why? That means we cannot be mindfulness with this path instruction. We don't use again and again. So just instantaneously we hear path instruction, at that moment help, and then we don't utilize it. We are not applied this. That's where then still we are in the suffering. So the proof is, if Guru gives path instructions at that moment, if it does not remove your the sorrow or suffering, then we can say, oh, the path instruction doesn't work. But still, one guru's path instruction doesn't work for you, another guru. Even you read some guru's teaching through a book, if it helps to you, that is proof. Path instructions are spiritual medicine to remove your suffering. So now it is in your hand. You apply it or you repeat on it or not. So, so happiness and suffering, no different. Suddenly we heard that is like a paradox, opposite. It seems like a water and fire are not opposite. But if we can make union them, then they are no different. They are both, number one, they are both inherently emptiness. But in temporarily, also on the relative level, temporary happiness is impermanent, changing. We say the suffering of change, which means temporary happiness changes into suffering, and then we suffer. Then suffering is suffering, so they are no different. And then they are both impermanent and the cause of samsara. So in this case, what we have to understand is that we shouldn't be too sensitive with suffering. And we shouldn't attach too much to temporary happiness. Shantideva says in the way of Bodhisattva's life, Zere Jinla Nuba Mang. Zere Jin means person who has too much sensitive with obstacles and sufferings, then those people have lots of obstacles. There is this, I can't translate that. Actually, quite a joke, but actually in Tibet, since this is Tibetan, however, they offer teas to gurus respectfully, and then one person pour tea in guru's bowl, and then he or she, I don't know, forgot to taste how much the salt. It's too much salt water or not salt. It's not good, yeah. So that's where they drink from Guru's bowl after they clean their mouth. Suddenly they clean their mouth. That means they are very much kind of sensitive on there. But the reason is, how to say, they try to make clean Guru's bowl. But they, number one, unmindfulness. So only focus on the taste of this tea, and then they drink in Guru's bowl. And after they also did not clean the Guru's bowl, but they clean one's mouth. So that means the sensitive, that feeling draw their mind. So, however, we so we keep balance. If we stay balanced on the surface of water, then we won't sink. Similarly, if we don't have too much attachment and aversion, we will not sink in the ocean of samsara. And also, suffering will not bother us too much. And then Milarepa said, if there is no difference between afflictive emotion and wisdom, then you become a master of realization. So these afflictive emotions arise in our mind almost 24/7, whether they are subtle or gross. These emotions arise, so we should always acknowledge them, and then we watch the essence of these emotions. If we watch these emotions, then at that time we overpower them, because we bring out the essence of them, so they cannot control us. Then afflictive emotions are not afflictive emotions, they are wisdom. For example, when your angry emotion arises, if you watch at the essence of angry emotion, this is a very good subject of meditation, because at that time all your attentions gathering together area of your heart, so you can focus clearly on this emotion. Then you can instantaneously liberate from this angry emotion. And if you do that, if you will do this, then you will not engage harsh world. Harsh world is not material knife, but it cuts others' heart. You should understand that. And if you throw some word, it's very difficult to bring them back to you. If you throw stones or some other books or something, you can bring them back. But words goes through other people's ears and sink into their mind, then it's very hard to bring it back. Bring it back means then it's separate between your friends, close friends, relatives, and so forth. So this is angry emotion, how destroy outer environment. It destroy inner environment. It is cause of heart attack. If you become meditator of angry emotion, then the heart disease is very much related, angry emotion. So we do not need extra suffering. We already in the ocean of suffering, then still we do not create extra suffering. So, but we cannot block angry emotion because we are ordinary beings. But the angry emotion, let it come, there is a song in English, let it come, let it go. Similarly, let it come, but how let it go goes is we watch it. Even you are working in somewhere, only the things when you drive, probably you look at angry emotion, then it's possible your car goes some wrong places. Otherwise, if you are, for example, calling phone and working on the road, if you are angry, stop to do those functions, but just watch. Let us stand up and watch at the angry emotion. Actually, I don't mean Buddha Dharma is the best religion among all religions. Every religions are wonderful, but it's really science. Buddha Dharma is science. Science of the mind. No, I try to introduce it. Honestly, I cannot introduce clearly, perfectly, because of my knowledge, because of my experience. But you check, please, by yourself. When each emotions grow from your mind, at that time you work something with them. There are lots of, and Shantideva says, the way of Bodhisattva, Rinchin Terdang Dawaye, like a precious treasure, if you don't know the secret point of mind, if you would like to achieve happiness and try to remove suffering, then you will not able to do. But in this verse, what we have to understand is, if we understand the essence or the secret point of mind, we can liberate ourselves from the ocean of samsara or temporary these sufferings. We can remove lots of sufferings of body through the different practices as well as yoga and so forth. Then through Dharma practice, similarly through Dharma practice, we can remove many sufferings. It's like a miracle. It's like a special magic. For example, if you think, I am poor, I have no money, I have no house, I am poor. So you have that challenge, yeah? But you learn Dharma and satisfaction is the, satisfied or satisfaction? Satisfaction, yeah. Satisfy what you have. Then you can remove this suffering. You have no house, no problem. No money, no problem. Many people have no money actually. So they are happily remains. So in Tibet, there are the old people, old generations. They wear one cloth, day and night. And they follow the yaks with song, sing a song, really. They are very old. Because their mind has Dharma. They trust karma, and in their mind is Dharma. That's why they're always happy. They eat I saw some these old, they eat a very simple food. They eat some bread, just put into the fire on the wood, and half is almost dark. Instead, they just blow it and eat that and drink tea, and then follow the yaks and sheep with sing a song. Now I rethink, it's quite unbelievable. The few old people I saw in Tibet, area of my village. they remain over 90 years. Over 90 years. So they have no problem with legs and those. So the karma is extremely true, truth object. And physically they have good health. I think means of course karma, and mentally they are always happy. I never see any money in their hand. Actually, I did not research to do they have money. Perhaps they have a few money under pillar of their under their pillar. But anyhow, I really did not see. But right now I'm talking about that their face is coming very clearly in my mind or something. But it's amazing. They live for so long, and that I'm not surprised that part, but I'm surprised they were so happy. That it makes. But I don't mean all of them. Okay, some old people I saw that it's really amazing, really amazing. I never saw any a single day they are unhappy. But we are not always stay together. But I see often. I saw often them. So that's where why I'm trying to tell you this is through Dharma practice, we should keep happy mind as much as possible. Nowadays, actually, not so easy to keep happiness because the century is changed. That it's really many the people have lots of challenges, but we give compassion to those instead of criticize. But ourselves, we try to keep happy mind. But don't keep selfish happy mind. Okay, happy mind with loving kindness. We try at least once a day. Yeah, if we watch these emotions, then at that time we overpower them. We overpower them and they overpower us. This is in our hand. Because we bring out the essence of them so they cannot counter us, then afflictive emotions are not afflictive emotions. Means that if we see their essence, then the essence of there are. The essence of ice is water. Similarly, essence of emotions are Dharma wisdom. Now we look each other's face. Basically, you and I, this Dharma, Buddha nature has no different. Even we invited thousands of scientists, plus Shakyamuni Buddha invited here, and please check whose Buddha nature is better. They cannot, if they be honest, they cannot say, oh, his Buddha nature is good, that Buddha nature is bad. They cannot say it. That means Buddha nature has no different. And then the five family Buddhas are the five afflictive emotions. So for that reason, it says you are the master of realization. We should be master of realization, yeah? And then what is the result? Then it says, if one's mind and Buddha are no different, then that means you are the master of fruition. In calling the Lama from afar, it says, our mind is Buddha, but we don't understand. We make this mistake. We cannot understand that our mind is Buddha nature or Dharmakaya, so we have to understand. We practice Dharma, we trust karma, we believe in the three jewels, we studied for a long time, we meditated for a long time, then we did retreat for a long time. then we need a result, a fruition. The fruition is that we should blossom into a Buddha. When we become Buddha is when we recognize our mind is Buddha, when we recognize that this is our fruition or result. I myself applied this example. I thought Buddha and sentient beings are same like two candle lights. But the wick of Buddha's candle is light, and the one of sentient beings is not. But now we have a lighter. If we place the lighter next to the candle, it would not light, even if it were there for 100 years. Another example is X and wood put together, it will never cut. We have to use it. So we have used the lighter to light the candle of our mind, but I don't mean that you should buy a lighter and burn yourself. That nobody think, yeah. I mean, look at your mind. When you look at your mind, there is not a single atom to be found, and there is no observer. But you spontaneously relax on innate awareness. If you become familiar with this experience, then you will be able to remain on it, free of any pursuit or effort. Then you will arrive at the needless things which Gambopa introduced. The first is if one realizes that one's mind is emptiness, then there is no need for listening, reflecting, and meditating. If you are boring, Khenpo Tenzin always teach something. Now I teach you once a week, twice a week. If you join, share us. Morning, afternoon, every day repeat. No, we can't. Actually, Kunchen Lungchenpa also said, if one realizes the essence of Buddha nature, then there is no learning higher than that. And also, Jetsongkhapa said, if one purifies fixation, then at that time one no longer needs to place emphasis on the view. So at that time, we no longer need to analyze the view. And also, Milarepa said, beyond the realization of the essence of phenomena, there is no perfection of wisdom. For realizing the essence of phenomena, we need to listening, reflecting, and meditating. But after we realize it, we do not need them. We need a boat to cross the ocean, but after we cross the ocean, then we don't need the boat. If you still carry the boat on your back after you cross the ocean, this is just you getting tired. The second needless thing is that if one realizes the awareness of Rigpa is stainless, then one does not need to purify non-virtues. Is good news? This is good news, I think. Yeah. Now we are purifying non-virtues because they cover our Buddha nature. The fault of this covering is that it doesn't allow us to realize the essence of mind. When we realize the essence of mind, then we do not need it anymore. For example, if one gets sick, we go to the doctor and get medicine. After we recover from the sickness, then we do not need the medicine. If we still take the medicine, then maybe the medicine will cause a disease. And then third, it says, if one realizes the natural state of mind, then one does not need to accumulate merit. One reaches the natural state of mind. Why is merit needless at this stage? One remains on the natural state of mind because of merit. One reaches the natural state of mind through the power of merit, the potential of merit. After one has reached it, then whatever is there, luminosity, clarity, bliss, emptiness, all of these are merit. Right now, we are attached to these material things, yeah? But we can learn something. If you buy a Honda car, very old one, you pay maybe 2,000. First, you don't have other car, you are really happy, enjoy with this, yeah? But after you earned lots of money, maybe, I don't know what is the expensive car. But if you have a very expensive car, probably then you don't worry this Honda. Perhaps if you keep this Honda into the garage cover and you look outside, when you have a very expensive car, new car, maybe you put this Honda outside of the sun, in front of the sun, and you keep this expensive car inside and you look and you wash that often instead of wash your mind. And maybe you will not wash that Honda. So why this? We learn something from there. We learn from them is what? Is this clarity, bliss. Right now I say that even I'm including me, we don't have much feeling, bliss, clarity, luminosity, emptiness. We don't have much feeling, yeah? That means we are not reach on this stage, okay? If we reach on this stage, if we will not reach completely on this stage, if we reach, we direct our face towards them, and then we figure out, these temporary happiness are really not happiness. We see them like a suffering. So that's where the okay. So but the luminosity, clarity, merit, bliss, all of them are the power of merit. So merit is extremely important. Right now, we have so precious human life means not always we have a nice face and a nice body shape or something, okay? Precious human life means we have special opportunity with this body, this life, to accumulate merit. Accumulate. When this word gives some feeling to us. Accumulate means have to collect something. So what should we collect? Merit. So we should collect merit. If we are in the life of cows, deer, bird, can we collect it? Collect this merit? No. I give you one joke. I know you will not laugh, but I give you this joke. Thousands of birds, they fly in the Tibet potala. And they saw potala. At the same time, they fall down under the ground. What happened? Do you know that? Thousands of birds flew through potala, but they saw potala at the center and they fall down on the ground. Fell on the ground. That means they saw potala. Potala is temporary, yeah? It's amazing. So, it's for many generation by generation comes. It's masters stay there and Dharma kings stayed there. So the birds did what? They join hand together like prostration. Two feathers join together and they fall down. They cannot stay in the space. So this is a joke, but what do we have to understand? We have precious human life. If we next year or some year you go to the potala and you join hand together, you will not fall down. But birds can fly, still they fall down on the ground because that means they don't have hands to join like this way. So we join these two hands together, it cultivates great merit. And it has lots of meanings. So I already told you during the prostration in preliminary practice, yeah? So it has great merit. So we have these two hands. That's why only through this way we can accumulate amazing merit. Okay, then so what now I try to say is if you gain the luminosity and those successfully, completely, then this temporary merit do not need. Means that after you reach there, you do not need this for liberate. Look at Dharmakaya. Right now, Dharmakaya spontaneously radiate Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya, Bodhisattvas, amazing gurus, and they will benefit others. Dharmakaya at ease in the emptiness space. So, okay, then your practice is completely sealed by non-compounded merit. So you no longer need compounded merit because you have non-compounded merit. Non-compounded merit is endless and very profound, deep, vast, and so forth. Then fourth, it says, if one cultivates the natural state of mind, it is needless for our practitioner to reflect on the path of method. This means if one remains in the natural state of mind or the essence of the nature, Buddha nature, then one does not need to apply methods. For example, in the Kaju lineage, if one remains in the Mahamudra, then one does not apply the 6 yogas of Naropa. The 6 yogas of Naropa are to achieve or reach Mahamudra. We say that the path of method is the 6 yogas of Naropa and the path of liberation is Mahamudra. So the 6 yoga of Naropa is a completion stage with the marks. Here we say marks, it has a reason, it still has the attributes of conception. Okay? So if we are liberated, then if we apply the 6 yogas of Naropa, it is useless. They are very useful for realizing Mahamudra. So don't misunderstand, okay? Coming this way, they are useful. When we reached on there, then we do not need them. We can utilize their powers, their merit. So, and then, okay. And then 5th, it says, if one realizes the thoughts are Dharma Dhartu, then one does not need to apply non-meditation. If one still apply non-meditation, this is not effortless meditation. This is effortful meditation. If one engages effort in meditation, then this is a creative practice. It is doing something. And when you do something, you accumulate karma. But if you realize all thoughts are dharma dhatu, then you don't apply this fourth yoga of non-meditation. As in Dzogpa Chenpo prayer says, such mentally fabricated analytical meditation is deceitful enemy. Know that the manner of grasping has been destroyed. I am like a carefree madman. So the meaning of this is clearly mentioned through another prayer of Dzogpa Chenpo. To the uncontrived and uncompounded Dharmata, there is nothing new that needs to be accomplished with the path of contrivance. The ultimate nature of the fruition is not born from a cause. May I realize the ultimate nature of fruition which inherently exists, naturally abounding in me from the primordial beginning. Then sixth, if you realize that afflictive emotions are inherently not afflictive emotions, then you don't need to apply the antidote of these afflictive emotions. If you do, you are just making yourself tired. Because you apply the antidotes where there is no non-virtue, it's like shooting arrows where there is no target. And then seventh, if appearances and sound are recognized as illusory, it is needed for a practitioner to find out any remedies with them. Then there is no adopting and no rejecting. If first you know these appearances are mind, and mind is inherently non-existent and completely pure, if you realize as it is, it says in the 37 practices of Bodhisattva, then there is no something to adopt and nothing to reject. Adopting and rejecting are non-existent. And then number 8 is very important. If you realize that suffering are siddhis, then you don't want to search for happiness beyond them. How beautiful. Right now we are doing something in the Dharma way. If people were to observe us, it would seem like we are doing useless things. But we are trying to free ourselves from suffering. Right now we are probably not at that stage. That's why we search for happiness and try to reject suffering. But if we can enter into this key point, then all the sufferings are a blessing. All obstacles are good conditions. This key point is like water, and the sufferings and obstacles are like snowflakes. Then they touch the water, they melt, and the water grows vaster and vaster. So then, when we realize that at that time these things are happiness, obstacles are happiness, sufferings are happiness. Right now, someone cannot be patient with their suffering, so they commit suicide. And if they know the suffering and obstacles are siddhis, then they would protect their life by themselves. And then number 9, which is also important. If one realizes one's mind is birthless and doesn't ask the guru to give power transmission when one passes away, one will be reborn directly in Dharmakaya Amitabha's Pure Land, because one realizes that one is Dharmakaya. So there is no need to pay some money and ask for power. If you ask for power without a faith, it still creates some merit, but it would be quite hard for you to go to the Pure Lands. Otherwise, everyone would do it. Just pay some money and do it. So how significant these needless things we call secret? We can open this secret, and these things are a real treasure. It's like a pearl's treasure. And then, 10th, another very important thing is whatever we do. If we do for others, then we don't want to do anything in particular for oneself. If we do everything for others, even if you pick up the phone and call others, it's for them that you do it, even one on the relative level through karmic causes and effect. If you help others, they will be happy and also help you in return. It's happened, often happened. A real example is Shakyamuni Buddha. He did everything for others, but he became enlightened. 2,600 years ago, he became enlightened. His friend praised him and said that, Gautama Buddha, first we were equal, same, you worked for others and I worked for myself, and through working for others you became enlightened. I worked for myself and still I remain in samsara. Still I am suffering. So the sage praised the Buddha. Sage means truth spoker. They said that real happens. So today, actually, I talked later the part of the meditation and realization part, because these are very necessary. Because why do we practice Dharma? What is the result? After we gain result, then what we will get, something like that. It's quite important, and also it related because we are in this teaching is our topic is Buddha nature, So that's where I taught on there. I was teaching on there, and please more reflect it on there. And if you have questions, don't worry. When you ask questions, don't think, I'm going to respect him or something like that. Whatever you have a doubt, you ask in the Dharma questions. You can ask and we can discuss. Sometimes my answers are not very clear. So then, but I try to answer something through this way. The power of your Dharma wisdom, you will understand clearly. It really often happens. So, okay, now we dedicate through our Bodhichitta, okay? Chancho sencho renpo ma je pa na je je ba nyam ba me ba ya ko ne kon de be var yo.
May Bodhichitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arisen. Where it has arisen, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher.
Okay, thank you so much. Meant for Mother Goddess Tara, please protect them. Have a wonderful time.